Are you watching your budget, but you still love to buy new makeup? Me too. And I was really excited when I was in Walmart the other day and I saw this brand from Makeup Revolution called Relove, and nothing on my face is over $5. I always love it when I find not just affordable makeup, but ultra affordable makeup that is also insanely good. And based on how my face looks right now, I kind of think that this brand might just qualify for that label. Now, I haven't worn it all day yet, so that could change by the end of this video. But for right now, I think it's worth your time to stick around. We have a really small Walmart in my small town. Our makeup section is actually just one aisle on two sides, and part of it is nails. But recently I was in a bigger town nearby that has a better Walmart and several aisles worth of makeup, and they actually carry this Relove by Revolution brand. Unfortunately, quite a bit of it was out of stock or opened, and I wasn't going to buy that. They didn't have a black mascara, they didn't have a bronzer, and while they did have some eyeliners, I have so many black eyeliners that I just really didn't want to get another one. But I got almost a full face. I'm going to tell you about these products and intersperse that with me applying them on my face. Primer was one of the most expensive things I purchased, and it was $4.98. Everything was under $5. On the Revolution website, they say, fall in love with affordable beauty. The Relove collection is everything you need to create beautiful looks with quality ingredients at an even more affordable price. And they have a range of primers. There's a hydrating, a power fix, a super matte, pore vanishing, and I chose the pore vanishing primer. Also important to know, Revolution is vegan and cruelty free. Anyway, this pore vanishing primer is a clear primer. It looks kind of like a jelly. I'm going to put some here on the back of my hand. You can see that I've got lots of wrinkles and things like that on my aging hands. So we're going to just pump out a little bit. It is a clear formula, kind of a jelly. We're going to see how this blends in and if we see any pore filling, that sort of thing, once it dries down. I may have put a little bit much for such a small area, but we'll go ahead and let that dry down and I'll be right back. And I'm going to show you both hands. If I pull my hands tight, it's going to look a lot better, but I'm going to go ahead and let them relax so that you can see the difference in my hands. And I really do think that there was some smoothing that happened over here. And it may have just hydrated it some, but that's good too. I am going to put just a little bit on my finger because we're just going to put this on one side of my face and then see how it compares if it looks blurred or not. So we're going to put that in here on my nose, a little on my chin. I do have quite a bit of redness on my face today, but we'll see how the foundation covers that in just a minute. And I'm going to go away for just a second while I let this dry, and then we'll take a look at one side versus the other and see if I have any pore smoothing or not. Okay, it's dry, and so I have it on this part of my face here and not on this side. What do you think? I'm not sure that I see any pore smoothing to speak of. So maybe I would have been happier with the Make It Last primer instead of the pore smoothing. But we'll see how this looks once I get my makeup on. And I think that I'm just going to keep the primer on one side and see how the makeup does with the primer versus without the primer. Let's do that. The other $4.98 item I got was the Relove Super Serum Foundation. It has hyaluronic acid, and I got the color F1. There are 15 shades on the website, and the shade range isn't great, but it does go from pretty fair to pretty deep, so that's good. And because it's a serum foundation and lighter coverage, sometimes the shade doesn't have to be exact in order to work. It says that the makeup is buildable to allow you to adapt the level of coverage required from light to medium to full. It has this dropper delivery system that isn't ideal, but it does clean the dropper pretty well when you pull it out. And then it says that it has medium coverage makeup that helps to create an even canvas while maintaining a natural skin finish. So we're going to put just a little bit on there. This is the hand that I put the primer on, by the way. Create a silky, breathable base with the Relove Super Serum Foundation. In 15 skin true shades, this ultra lightweight formula is stretchable and buildable, infused with hyaluronic acid to help keep your skin hydrated throughout the day. create a smooth, dewy finish with just a few drops. And it does look, whoops, let me see if I can get both my hands on here. And I think it does look really pretty. It covered my age spots. And so let's put it on and see what it does on my face. I think I'm going to put this on my fingers. And it's very liquidy, so I'm just going to start blending it in with my fingers. I really think that's going to be the best way to get this on and smoothed out, and then I'll come in with a sponge to blend. Okay, now remember, I had a lot of redness, and I really think it did a good job covering it, way better than I anticipated. I am going to take my dampened sponge and kind of blend over that. And that did remove some coverage, so I am going to put a little bit more kind of on my cheeks and not really blend it in much with my fingers, but go back in and blend it with my sponge and see if I can get a little more coverage on my cheeks and to cover that blemish that I had right there. I honestly did not expect the coverage to be quite that good with as liquidy as that foundation was. That's pretty impressive. I did not get a concealer, so to keep it in the affordable range, I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Incognito, and I'll be right back. I'm back, and while I was gone, I also put a bit of that concealer on my eyelids as primer, just a really thin coat, and I did my brows. I didn't get a brow product from Relove because the pencils they had there started at brown and went deeper, and they looked like they would be way too dark for me. I didn't check the website to see if they had a lighter color, blonde or taupe, but I will while I'm editing this, and I'll let you know if there is or isn't a lighter color. Because I got a serum foundation, but I have oily skin, I decided I would try the Super Matte Powder, Non-Comedogenic with pink clay and niacinamide, super matte finish, lightweight touch. I haven't yet touched this powder, so I don't know what it's going to feel like, but it does feel very silky and very smooth. I am going to pick some up with a brush and put it on my hand where I put that foundation. Oh my goodness. Did you see that blur? Wow. Super matte for sure, and really did a nice job blurring. This weightless powder offers a matte solution for oily complexions or for those who are team matte. So now we're going to use the Super Matte powder as a setting powder, and I'm going to put that on before I do the powder products for the cheeks. I've got a clean powder brush and under eye brush, and I'm going to use this under my eyes too. So let me tap it out, make sure that there's no setting of my concealer, and just tap that in. The website says that this is the perfect partner for any matte base. Okay, that looks really nice. And now I'm going to just put it all over my face. Launching in 12 shades to help you achieve the perfect matte finish with a range of undertones, this weightless, silky soft powder blends effortlessly into skin for a natural finish that will help to keep midday shine at bay. And yes, I mean, I think that that is really blurred out through here where I have some larger pores and definitely looking matte. I'll use a setting spray to kind of bring a little life back. But let's go into the blush now. For the rest of the complexion, I got the Duo Blush and Highlighter in the shade Blushed. This looks much darker on the website, by the way. Discover your go-to dreamy duo with the Relove Color Play Blushed Collection, a blush and highlighter duo available in 6 shades. This smooth and creamy formula will give you the perfect buildable flushed look and glistening highlight. The large pan size makes it really easy to cover your favorite brush and product for a seamless application, available in 5 shades. And I'm just going to swatch this. It picks up very well. It's very pigmented. And I'm going to swatch it over the foundation and powder. Wow, that you're going to have to be careful with that. And then the highlighter is also very smooth and buttery and really smooth. So I'm going to have to be careful putting those on because they're super pigmented, and we will see what that looks like on my face, but that's a really pretty color. And I'm going to use another double-ended for the blush and highlighter. So I'll just tap in there, and it picks up a lot. So I'm going to tap a little off onto my palette to make sure that I don't go in too heavy to start out with. That's really a pretty color. Ooh, didn't tap that one off and it got a little strong. So let that be a warning to you. I'm going to tap that with my sponge a little bit and blend that down. No problem with pigment on the blush, for sure. And then I'm going to use the small end of this and go into that highlighter and put that on my cheek. Wow, that's pretty. Wow, like it. I like blending it with my finger because it kind of helps melt it into my skin and not just look like a stripe of highlighter on my cheek, but more of a lit from within glow. And I'm going to avoid this blemish right there so that I don't draw attention to it. Put it on with the brush and then blend with my finger. That's pretty, and I think I'm going to use this as an inner corner highlight as well. For the eyes, I went with Empower, and it is this really pretty berry toned palette. It only has one shimmer, that's this one here. This one might be a satiny kind of a finish, but the rest are definitely matte. And I love that it's vegan because this is the type of palette that if it's going to have carmine in, it's going to be in this one. But because it's vegan, I don't have to worry about it. It says that it has a warm pink and neutral tone color story, and the palette will leave you ready for anything. So let's live swatch a couple, definitely the shimmer. It's a little bit crumbly, but it is very smooth when I put it on. And then let's do this matte and this matte as a live swatch, and then I'll swatch out the whole palette. That is really close to my skin tone, and that's a color that I like using to set my eyeshadow primer, and that went on very well also. So let me swatch the rest of these and I will show it to you. So there are all 6 shades. These two are really light. This is the light pink and this is the light beige. I think that you have enough there to do a really pretty eye look with. And so we're going to try that out. I'm going to set my primer with this color here. I kind of got just a flat brush. That's not usually the one I like to use for this, but I don't have a clean fluffy brush, guys. It's time to wash brushes again. How many of you need to wash your brushes too? We should have a brush cleaning party. So that is just my skin tone. You can't see it. Can't see that I've done anything with it, but that's okay. I am going to take a brush now and go into this light pink. I don't know if you'll be able to see this one. We'll see, because I'm going to start this in the transition area here. Oh yeah, you can see it. And I'm not going to close my eye. I've started doing this a little bit more with the transition color and not closing my eye when I put it on, so that I make sure I get it above the crease and on that hood. I don't take it all the way to my brow bone, but I do take it right to that bone right there. And I generally will dab first to get the color on before I start with the circles and the little windshield wipers, because you can see it just kind of pushes my skin around otherwise, and I want to make sure I get the color not skipping all over my eye. Then I'm going to go in with a bit of a denser brush to the deeper pink here, and we're going to start deepening up that crease. I just kind of rolled my brush in it, and I'm going to dab it right along the crease. That's a pretty color. Wow, I like that. And then I'm also going to drag it along the lash line down here and up, so that I start to create that lifted effect at the outer corner. That's pretty. So dab to deposit the color, and then start with little circles and windshield wipers to blend. This is blending really easily, by the way. I don't feel like it's patchy or blending away. It's just blending really nice. So then I'm going to take a flat shader brush. I am going to take this deepest color right here, and I'm going to put it just along the lash line and in the outer V to give some more dimension to that outer portion right there. And put it just a little bit in the crease, but I'm not going to drag that all the way across like I did the other color. It's just going right there. And the side that I put the color on, I have up so that it doesn't get down too low below my eye. I want this to stay lifted. And then when I go into the crease, I turn the brush over, and so that it's not going to be too high. And I'm going to drag just a little bit of this under the outer corner. I may use that brown under the eye because I don't like a lot of pink under my eye. So let's go in with a domed brush here and just pull that under the eye so that I don't get that pink eye look. Make it more of a browny pink versus a pinky pink. Okay, and now for the shimmer. I'm going to try it with a brush, but I have a feeling I'm going to need to use my finger. Oh, it picks up actually not bad with a brush. And I am going to spray it because it looks a little bit crumbly. So I'm going to do this one with a brush. We'll do the other side with my finger. See which one I like better. I'm going to bring this about halfway. Pretty. Okay, let's use my finger for the other side. Okay, well that works too. I think it's a little thinner on this side than the side with the brush. Let's see what happens if I spray my finger. That helped, but I do think I like the brush side better. Interesting. That doesn't always work out that way. I'm going to go back into that light pink because normally I would put a lighter shimmer on the inner corner, but I don't have one. So I'm going to pick up that light pink and press that on to the inner half of the eyelid to brighten it there. Like that. That's pretty. And then I am going to go into this highlighter and use that for my inner corner highlight. And maybe even the shimmer right there that I'm missing, because I really like shimmer right there. Yeah, that's working just fine. You could leave it with just the pink if you wanted to, or amp it up with a little shimmer. I'm going to put on some eyeliner and mascara, and I'll be right back for lips. And then finally, I got 3 lip products to do a full lip with. I got the liner in Glam, that was $1.98. I got the baby lipstick in Create, and that was $3.98. And then the baby gloss, also in Glam, was $1.98. So let's swatch these. The lip liner is a regular sharpening wood pencil, and the color is just a nude, sort of on the brown leaning side. The lipstick, is much darker than I anticipated, but it's a very pretty color, and it's also extremely smooth. Wow. Kind of matte, but like I said, a little bit darker than I anticipated, but I'm going to use it anyway. And then we have the gloss that's really pigmented and will look really pretty with the lip liner. Or let's put it over. Putting it over the lipstick will tone down the color if you want to do that. So let's see how it goes on my lips and if it feels sticky or not. In keeping with the nothing over $5 theme, I used my Wet n Wild Kohl eyeliner pencil in Simma Brown now, 98 cents, and the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect, which is like $4.98-ish. So that's what I put on my eyes. I also used the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and this is the one that's always been super affordable. It's like $3. On to lips. So this is the Superfill Lip Liner in Glam. And like I said, it is a regular sharpening pencil, so let's... The color is very close to the color of my lips, so I don't know if it's going to really do a whole lot. I think I would have liked a little bit darker color. And since it's only $1.98, if I get back to a Walmart that has this brand again, I may pick up a couple of different colors because it is very creamy and I did like the way it went on. Actually, I went ahead and put it all over my lips. It does give me kind of concealer lips, but because this is dark, I'm hoping that maybe it will tone it down. I don't want to overpower my eyes with the lipstick. So let's put this on. Oh, that is so creamy. Definitely need a darker lip liner with it. However, that's actually kind of a pretty color, isn't it? And now the baby gloss, also in Glam. It has a little bit of a vanilla, kind of a cookie smell. I'm not opposed to it. And it feels really nice on the lips. It doesn't feel sticky, but it does feel hydrating. And it's really pretty. Wow, I like that combination. And then, as usually happens when I assess the entire face when I'm done, I almost always feel like I need a little more blush because you get the eyes and the lips on and suddenly the cheeks just kind of fade away. So I'm going to take just a tiny little bit more of that color and put it just on the fronts of my cheeks to give a little bit more of a flush. Oh, that is such a pretty color. You guys, I am really happy with how this makeup turned out. What do you think? I have just a tiny little bit of fallout from the eyeshadow, so I'm going to brush that away. But I think my skin looks nice. I don't think it's settled in my lines or creases. I will take you over to the window, but I'm not going to go outside and show this in natural light because it is so windy here today that I would just blow away. And we are going to do a wear test. So let's go to the window. We're here at the window in my bedroom, and I think that this makeup looks really pretty. And I'm excited to see how it wears. I'm getting ready to head to work. I don't know if I'll do a check-in there or if I'll wait till I get home because I don't have anything after work today. So it'll probably be about a 5-hour check-in. And then I'll hang around in my makeup until I get ready to go to bed. And hopefully we'll get at least to 8 or 9 hours. We'll see how long I stay up tonight. I'll see you in a little while. I'm home from work and it's been about 5 hours since I put the makeup on. And honestly, I think it still looks really good. All right, so I'm going to come in here so you can see. And I look a little bit glowy, but not really oily. So I'm okay with looking a little glowy as long as I don't look like a grease pit or a disco ball. It is worn off a little bit around my nose. I was working upstairs at the theater where we keep our costumes, and it's an old building, so it's kind of dusty. Did some sneezing and blowing my nose. So there you go. But overall, I think my skin looks really good. And the eyeshadow has held on really well. I think it looks as good as it did when I put it on. I have reapplied the lipstick because while it didn't actually do bad holding on while I ate lunch, by the time I finished my workday, it was definitely gone. So when I got home, before I sat down to film, I did put the lip products back on. So I am going to go relax for a little while, make some supper, and probably watch a movie with my family. And I'll be back in 3-4 hours or so to do an 8 or 9 hour check-in and let you know how it's looking. I'm back. It's been 9 hours and the makeup is not looking as good as it did earlier. It has worn off significantly in the center of my face and on my nose. It's kind of broken up funny on my nose. It's looking really kind of oily and shiny, but I am going to blot and use the powder again and see if I can kind of resurrect it. As you can see, I didn't even bother to redo the lipstick this time. Let me grab a tissue and just blot a little bit. It didn't transfer onto the tissue at all. I'm really surprised. Okay, on my forehead, it did a little bit, but not very much. Usually when I blot, I get a lot more than that on my tissue. So I'm going to go back to that super matte powder and go in with my brush and just powder that across my cheeks. I also feel like the blush has faded quite a bit. The highlighter's still intact and the eyeshadow still looks really good. So in there, that did a lot for reviving this base of mine. And I'm still looking really dry right here on my nose. I've got kind of a skin flake right there. But if I needed to, that little bit of just blotting and putting on the powder would allow me to continue on for a couple of more hours. This is a very lightweight serum foundation. And so if you're looking for something that feels really light on your skin and looks really natural and skin-like, it does do that. I'm going to try this again tomorrow, but I think I'm going to use the e.l.f. gripping primer with it. I don't think this primer did this foundation any favors. I don't feel like it really did anything. It didn't blur, and I don't think that it actually helped with the longevity. The other thing is, I said I was going to put on a setting spray, and I forgot. I did not do that. So tomorrow, I'm going to use the e.l.f. gripping primer. I'm going to use the foundation, the powder, and then I'm also going to put on the e.l.f. setting spray and see if I can extend that and get it to last a little bit longer. I thought I was okay with how that wear test went. And even though the foundation didn't hold up great, I was like, it didn't do too bad. And then I wore one of my tried and true foundations yesterday, and I wore it for 14 hours, and it looked better than the Relove had looked at 5 hours. So I'm going to give this another try, and I'm going to use the BH Cosmetics Mattifying Primer that I used yesterday with my Misha BB Cream, and I'm going to see if this primer has any effect on the lasting power of this foundation. See if I can get some better results out of this serum foundation before I make a final decision. If you have dry skin, this Relove may be really good for you. But if, like me, you are in your 50s or beyond and you still have oily skin, this one so far is not really making me happy. Got a little bit of the mattifying primer here. We're going to just put that everywhere. I have my skincare, my sunscreen on. I used a mattifying sunscreen, and we're just going to give this foundation every advantage I can give it to see if I can get a good wear out of it. And even though I'm usually impatient and just put my foundation on right after I put my primer on, I'm actually going to let this one sit and melt into my skin before I put the foundation on. Be right back. All right, we'll give it a good shake. And it really is in there very tight, so it does not make as big a mess as some of these when they're in there loose and you just get a big old glob out there. So that I am happy with. And again, I'm going to put this on my fingers and kind of spread it around. I've tried putting this on with a brush and I got a little better coverage, but I didn't really like it. I felt like it looked heavy and masky. So I actually really like just putting it on with my fingers, blending it in with a dampened beauty sponge, and then adding a little extra coverage where I need it. And I've been testing this for several days with different primers. I used the e.l.f. Power Grip and got a little better results than I did with this one. But so far, it is not really a long-lasting foundation. It does look pretty as long as it lasts, but I really expect more from my foundation. Today, I have a red spot over here. The blemish that was under my eye is gone, but we'll just put a little extra on both cheeks. And I'm going to go away and do my concealer and my brows, and I'll come back for powder. Just like before, I'm going to use the Super Matte powder, and I'm going to set under my eyes. And then the rest of my face. I'm going to put on the rest of my makeup. Be right back. Okay, so I went away and did all of the rest of my makeup, and I actually did a short for this eye look. I know a lot of you don't like watching shorts, but if you do, on my channel page, I have a section for shorts, and you can go and watch through some of those. I like to do a look or give you a tip or a quick review or something like that with my shorts, and not just dance videos. I mean, I don't do those. So anyway, if you want to check those out, you can go to my channel page and click on my little shorts section. The last thing I'm going to do, and this kind of breaks my everything under $5 rule, but I am going to use my e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist because I think this is probably one of the best setting mists I have other than the Urban Decay All Nighter, and that one's way more expensive than $5. So like I said, we are giving this foundation the absolute best chance I can give it to last at least 8 hours. I have a rehearsal tonight, and I would really like it to get through that. I'm going to go about my day, and I will try to check in at 5 hours and see if we've gotten this to last a little better than the last time. And then I'll probably check in again after rehearsal, which will be about the 9 or 10 hour mark, and see where we're at. Now, like I said, yesterday I wore that Misha BB cream for 14 hours, and I didn't look shiny at all. It was a little bit worn off, but it wears off so well that you can't really see that it's worn off. And then I will give you my final thoughts on all of this makeup. Hey all, I'm here to do the 5-hour check-in on this foundation, and I'm actually in my car because it was busy at the theater. I was going to try to go to the park, but it is a really pretty day and the park is swamped. So I just found a quiet spot and parked my truck, and so here I am. Anyway, I actually think the foundation is holding up much better today than it did the first time I wore it. And I've been itchy around my face. I guess it's probably allergies or something. So I've been kind of scratching around my nose. And so I have a little bit of it worn off, and my face is a little red from messing with it. And I was reading something, so I kind of have my hand on my chin. And so it did wear off a little bit there, but not too bad. And it feels much less greasy today than it did the first time. So I think that mattifying primer, if you have oily skin, is key. Now, I know that Jen Phelps reviewed this foundation, and I believe that she liked it, but she also has very dry skin, and I do not. So it definitely does perform different based on your skin type. And I think that you will really need to use a mattifying primer if you wanted to stay on, because I did use the e.l.f. gripping primer another day. I didn't film that, and I didn't really get any better performance out of it than I did using the Relove pore filling primer. So mattifying primer seems to be the key for me today. Like I said, I think I said I'm at 5 hours, but I'm going to come in really close here so you can get a little better, looking a little bit dewy, but not oily, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I think maybe this, I feel like I'm crooked. And it's probably shaky because I'm holding this, so I apologize if you're getting seasick. Anyway, so I'll check back in after rehearsal and let you know what I think of this after about 4 more hours of wear. It's late, it's about 10 o'clock, and I've had the Relove Super Serum Foundation on my face for about 9 hours, and it has held up better today than it did the first day that I wore it, but it doesn't look as good as the Misha BB cream looked yesterday after 14 hours. And so I think it's a good foundation if you have dry skin, or maybe you just want to wear it for, 6 hours or so. But if you have oily skin and you're looking for something that's going to be long lasting, then I wouldn't recommend this one. As a way to use this up and not waste it, I think I could mix it in with other foundations that are a fuller coverage that I want to thin out a little bit. But if I want a $5 serum lighter coverage foundation, this one does it so much better. It gives good coverage and it lasts really well, and it's still very, very inexpensive. As for the other products that I tried, I did not find that this did anything at all as far as blurring, and so do not recommend it. I would perhaps be interested to try the lasting primer and see if it does better, but this one didn't really do anything. I do really like the powder. Just for fun, let's see what happens if I powder this. Because if I actually weren't doing a wear test and it looked like this, then I would powder it and see if I could get some more time out of it. And yeah, I mean, it really did take down the shine through the T-zone, and I think I could probably go another couple of hours if I needed to. Most of the time, I prefer my foundation to last 10 hours without touching up, but there are trade-offs to a lighter serum foundation, and one of them is that you may have to touch up. Really, really liked the blush and highlight duo in Blushed. Thought this was a super pretty color. The highlight is beautiful. The texture is really nice, and it lasts really well. I mean, I still have good color and highlight on my cheeks, and that I have not touched all day. This eyeshadow palette I did also really like. I would have wished perhaps for another lighter shimmer, because I like having that lighter shimmer on the inner portion of my eye, and it didn't have that. It just had this matte there. I feel like it would have made it a more balanced and usable palette for what I like if it had one more lighter shimmer. But the colors are beautiful. They lasted all day, and yeah, for the $2.98 or whatever it was, it's a good palette. And then the 3 lippy products, I want a different color of this. It's too light, but it's very creamy, and I like the pencil itself. The lipstick is really a nice, comfortable formula. It's a little bit of a matte, and this color I thought was going to be really dark, but it's actually kind of a purpley mauve, and it's really pretty. So I like that. And then the lip gloss was also really nice, and I like that. It's comfortable, it's not sticky, and it has a nice scent. Those are my thoughts on the Relove by Revolution, and I hope that this review was helpful to you. If it was, please give me a thumbs up before you go. If you got a little more time to hang out, check out that video there. If you need to go, I will see you in my next one. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.